What's going on, y'all? So look, Love and Hip Hop. Let me tell y'all something. Love and Hip Hop look like it's supposed to have like 19 episodes, including the reunion. So that mean that bitch ain't going off until August. Who has the fucking time? What? Okay. Anyway, y'all doing a little bit much. If that's real, I'm on a 2-part reunion. My ass. Anyway, moving the fuck on. I hope y'all had a good day. Um, so we gonna start off Loving Hip Hop Atlanta. Bitch, let me tell you something. First of all, I had to take my hair down because my scalp was fucking screaming. Said, bitch, wash me. So I had to go ahead and wash it. And I hate when I had to wash my stuff my own self because I don't know, I can't twist it up myself. So I gotta get my appointment in next week and all that shit. But you know, shit had to be done. I can't be walking around here funky and shit. Fuck that. But anyway, moving on from that, Loving Hip Hop Atlanta season 5 episode, what is this, 7 3-ring circus, I believe it's called. So we start off with Carly Red meeting up with Tommy. She like, so, you know, Tommy up there talking to Jocelyn, talking about some I'm a fake bitch or whatever, and I was talking shit about her. And here I'm thinking that Tommy is cool. But okay, let me talk to this hoe. So Tommy sit down and she was like, okay, girl, what's up? You know, she was like, let me tell you something. I thought you was cool and all that. But she was like, what you talking about? I am cool. Well, Jocelyn said that you was talking about me to her and all this stuff. She was like, no. What I said was you was saying a little bit of stuff and all this stuff. She was like, bitch, stop. Because what I said was me and Jocelyn, we have our little friendship and we be on the out sometimes and you have to understand the way that it is and all this stuff, the way that we do stuff and yada, yada, yada. But who was talking the most shit about her actually was Jessica Dime Piece, if you must know. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, both y'all was talking shit. I mean, well, Carly, if you want to say you really want talking shit, you was laughing at the stuff. So to me, if you laughing at the stuff, that makes you just as guilty too, on the same fucking level, okay? You don't laugh when somebody talking shit about your supposed friend or whatever, but y'all not friends right about now, so who gives a shit? And then Tommy was like, well, you need to start talking about certain stuff that can be taken the wrong way by another person, you know? And then Carly was like, since you think I talk too goddamn much, I'm not gonna tell you the shit that I know about you. And then she just bounced out of there. I said, Carly, get the fuck your messy ass, but that's what you known for, so at least you staying true to character. Moving on. Don and fucking Jocelyn. Jocelyn is like, you know, I am so tired of sleeping up in the hotels. I gotta go find a new house. I said, what happened to the rented ass big white house? That expired? You know, the owner of that Airbnb had to come back and get it or whatever. What? I was confused. And then she was like, you know, me and my girl Dawn, you know, we talking and we getting back together. I don't care what nobody thinks, okay? This is my bitch, okay? This is my bitch, okay? And I was like, all right. Dawn, like, you know, we tight like glue and all this shit. And I'm just sitting here like, how does that work? I can never, and I've been seeing a whole bunch of stuff like this going on with a whole bunch of people that been getting on blast, their friends or whatever. And I'm talking about celebrities and regular persons, people putting their friends on blast or their ex-friends on blast or whatever on Twitter, on Instagram or whatever. And y'all going back and forth, putting all their personal information out there. And next thing you know, all of a sudden, y'all going back so hard, and then y'all cool again. I could never, ever, ever do that shit. Once you burn bridges with me that first time, you try to play me in public that first time, we're fucking done. Don't ever bring a goddamn personal matter or a private matter that was discussed or was handled or argument that was had in private public with me, because if that's the case, we're fucking done, and that shows you have no fucking respect, and that shows that I can't fucking trust you, and therefore we don't need to be in association with each other anymore, okay? Ain't no making up, ain't no none of that bullshit. And so Jocelyn was sitting there talking about some they friends, and you know, down like, you know, we go through stuff, but that's my bitch, and you know, we've been friends for so long, but you put all this stuff out about her man, about this and about that, and I'm just sitting here like, I don't get it, but I mean, whatever, you do what you gotta do for a check. Y'all heard Jocelyn gonna be up in Lee Daniels' new show, Star. I don't know if it's a recurring role or just a guest spot, but she gonna be on that bitch. Child, her head finna be big like a motherfucker, bigger than it already is. But anyway, moving on from that, you know, She was like, what was going on with that girl at the party? Why she come up there to you like that? Don was like, bitch, I have no fucking ideas. And then she come up to me and she was like, do you know me? Do you know me? Like, bitch, I don't fucking know you. That's because you hang out with fucking KK. And then he was like, how you know KK? And I said, yeah, Don, how the fuck you know her? Bitch, Don said, you know what? Me and KK paths crossed when we was in jail together. I was in prison and she got out a little bit after me. And after she got out or whatever, we was still talking on and off. But then all of a sudden the bitch just left me dry. And then you got this Tommy bitch trying to be like a little pit bull, this rat ass bitch. I was like, damn, Tommy gets no fucking respect in these streets out here, so that I'm seeing. Okay? And I just said, y'all just willingly put it out there like it was a badge of honor that they went to prison. Not jail, but prison. Okay? She was like, KK only did like 8 or 9 months or whatever, and she got out early and all that shit. Da 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 da. I was like, the fuck did y'all do? Well, bitch, how long was you in the prison? Okay? And they talking about their friendship again, and ain't nobody gonna come between us and all this stuff. And here comes Stevie J. He was like, oh shit, what the fuck? So you really gonna have this bitch up in here when she put all this stuff out on me, talking about I was a crackhead, I was this and I was that, and we're like, this my bitch, okay? That stuff is in the past and this is my girl, okay? So you can let bygones be bygones, and if you don't want to flow with it, you don't have to flow with it. I was like, Jocelyn, go the fuck away from me with that. I'm Stevie, I'm with you. I don't trust the bitch, okay? And then Di gonna say something, I don't give a fuck. You ain't been hot since your last hit, bitch. You ain't been relevant since your last hit. Or whatever, bitch. That hit, don't do Stevie like that, Di. Because at least he got fucking hits under his belt. And all his hits, them motherfuckers still jam, okay? Stop that bullshit. Don't do Stevie like that. Stevie's a fucking asshole, but don't do his workmanship, what he's done in the past in the music business. Don't do that shit like that, okay? I'm looking forward to this Faith Evans album collaboration that they doing with the Biggie shit. Don't do him like that, bitch. But he was just fucking over it. And I'm just sitting here like, he said, bitch, Jocelyn said, when you give me my papers, I want to see my contract. And then he was like, don't be up here doing no other bullshit that I'm going to have to get you out of. Because remember, I'm still your manager. She said, show me my contract, okay? If I got to take you to court and get a subpoena. I said, subpoena, bitch, you know the word fucking subpoena. Yes, come on, Jocelyn. And then, I was just sitting here like, you ain't let that girl see her contract yet. See, that's what the fuck it is. And I was with Don on this part. Stevie, you ain't dealing with no little ass bitch no more. This bitch done fucking grown up a little bit. She done got wide. I can't use that word with her. That's it, girl. So Carly Red was like, since Tommy thought that I talked too damn much, I'm not going to tell her that her nigga finna come over here to my shop. And I was like, God damn, this bitch, y'all messy as fuck this season. Like, messy as hell. And I don't know if I like it or if I don't. Bitch, I'm just in betwixt. I'm just so befuddled because I'm just like, y'all doing a little bit much. Beside me saying, girl, this is crazy. And I kind of like it. But the other side of y'all need to grow up and stop this bullshit. But, yeah, hold on one second. But anyway, it's Carly, so she messy like that. So this is what we expect, like I said before. But anyway, she opened up her shop. We got Scraps standing outside. She bending all the way over so he can see all the ass and stuff. Then the whole time that she was opening and talking to him, I was like, where your man at? I did see the preview where Life was supposed to be proposing to this bitch. So what the fuck just happened in the span of that time? Like, girl, she's sitting there talking about some, I ain't tell Tommy that I'm finna do some business with her man. And I was like, mind you, Scrap is a fucking player, okay? This motherfucker is like, and he done this shit for a long time. And you can tell he experienced in this shit because when she was talking to Carly about his situation with Tommy, he was like, he was a little wary because he didn't know if this was a situation where Tommy and Tierra was going to just pop out the back, when they going to do a part 2 of the shit that happened at that little meeting that they had or whatever. But no, he was like, Tommy ain't mine. I mean, to be cheating on somebody, you have to be in a committed relationship that you claiming. And I said, oh, I'm going to have to use that. No, let me stop because I'm in a committed relationship. But anyway, listen, I just had a flashback. I said, bitch, if I wasn't there, I would have used that line. I said, let me jot that shit down. If I was in a committed relationship, you know, I have to be in a committed relationship. Okay. I said, well, shit, damn it. I didn't think about that. I was like, that was a good one, Scrap. You cleaned up on that one because, to be honest, he fucking both brides and he didn't claim, he never really, he ain't lying about that shit. All right, and you dumb hoes letting him use you. Okay, so Carly sitting there like, you know, I got this Playboy in the radio that I do on Playboy, and I want you to come here and I want to talk to you and have you a discussion about, you know, the things that you do in the bedroom. Before that, he was like, wait a minute, don't you supposed to be going with some R&B dude or whatever? She said, I mean, I don't know what's going on with us, you know. Life came to the Playboy shoot and he told me all this stuff. Look at my raggedy ass dread back here. Anyway, he told me stuff that he was going to do. And then I've been calling him. I've been texting him. He ain't even been answering. So I don't know. Because he was like, are you talking to him? Or are you dating him? Or what? You know, because words mean things. I said, come on, bitch. Scrapped and been here before. Okay? And then she was like, you know, it is what it is right now, I guess. So fuck him. And then, she started talking about the Playboy stuff. And then she was like, how do you like it? He was like, I like it fast, slow, in the car, standing up, sitting down, doing all this. And she was like, you know, I exude sugar and all this stuff. And I can do this and do that. He was like, damn, bitch, you got me sweating. She was like, Daddy, let me help you take off your jacket. Carly said he fine as fuck, so the fuck what? And I said, bitch, you finna go for it, ain't you? I saw this shit coming. Next thing you know, he kissed her. And then he lifts her up, get between her legs, and they kissing again. And I'm sitting here like, now, even if I was to have a one night stand, bitch, you're not kissing me because I don't know. But I don't believe in that kissing when I first see you, bitch. I don't know you. Your breath probably stank, or, you know, I don't know what's going on with your mouth, your teeth, and all that stuff. Did you brush your tongue correctly? I don't know. You're not going to put your lips on mine. They could be a little bit ashy. You know, sometimes lips can be deceiving. They can look like they're moist, but then when you kiss them bitches, they just cut your lips up, you know? But give me a herpes on the first day? No. I said, Carly, use a little thought, but all right, you do what you gotta do. Revenge, huh? And then talk about fucking revenge. Jocelyn, like, I'm finna go to my bitch, I'm finna go to my friend's house. They back here. And it's this big ass house, right? With a Rolls Royce in the front yard and all this stuff. And at least I can say that this person own all that shit. But anyway, and I can understand, after this scene, I can understand why these two bitches are still friends to this goddamn day. And they explained that shit too. They come in, Jocelyn come in, and it's a butler, okay? And it was like the master of the house. I said, master? Whoa, all right. Wait a minute. At first, and that threw me out for a second, so I thought it was a dude. And then I was like, no, it's K. Michelle. Told her to take her shoes and all her shit off and put some booties on. That bitch, when I get my house and shit like that, that's that shit last. You're going to take your motherfucking shoes off on my hardwood floors that's already racks, okay? You're going to put these little booties on. I'm going to have some socks at the door for you to put on or whatever. If you have a problem with that, take your ass back out, okay? That's going to be me. But, you know, she had her going through this scavenger hunt, and Jocelyn said, you know what? I'm tired of going through this scavenger hunt for some pussy. Because that's exactly what she was acting like, okay? She was acting like a dog in motherfucking heat. But, you know, she seen K. Michelle out there. They talking it up. And Kay was like, bitch, I'm back and all this stuff for good. Because I'm back for the main reason is because I'm finna stun on these hoes that said I wasn't gonna do shit. But bitch, I'm showing you that I can, I did, and I am. I said, bitch, you're petty as fuck. You're petty as fuck, and I see why you here with fucking Jocelyn. And I said, well, go ahead, bitch. This is beneath you, but this is you. So I'm going to just let you go ahead. I can't even voice my opinion as much as bitch, you're petty as fuck. Let me tell you something. You's a petty ass bitch for this, but you going to go ahead and do it. Go ahead, Kay and Jocelyn. I understand it now. I mean, we all had those moments where, you know, you want to come back and be like, nah, you know, look what you said, I wasn't gonna be shit, but you know, look what the fuck I'm doing. Well, K Michelle, she actually finna do that shit. And I said, we thought that, but who actually go out there and do it? I mean, girl, this is kind of beneath you, but it is beneath you. I mean, Rashida living in a fucking condo. You living in this big ass house with 8 fucking bedrooms, and it's just you and your son when he coming out on the spring break and summer break. Bitch, what? Who cleaning up all that shit, bitch? Cause the show ain't me and it look like everything white and shit. Who gonna keep the maintenance? Okay, bitch, you got money all of a sudden. And then she was like, bitch, I'm finna come here and have my listening party for my 3rd album. Finna be all up on the radio. And I'm finna invite everybody who hate and love me. I said, well, bitch, I would have did the same damn thing too. That part of it. But then I was like, then again, I wouldn't put that, much effort into it. Like, fuck these hoes, okay? They don't want to congratulate me. They don't have to congratulate me. But TV, drama sales, all this bullshit sells. So I'm going to sit here and eat it up. All right? But did y'all hear that shit when Jocelyn said, when we gonna fuck? I said, wait a minute. See, I knew they was fucking already. And I just said, what? She said, bitch, what about Steve? You ain't got time for Stevie popping up. She was like, bitch, I ain't been talking to that motherfucker ever since we came back to Atlanta. It ain't even been like that. And then we go to Stevie going over there to Mimi house and talking to her about the shit that's going on with Jocelyn and the fact that, Don was there and he come to the new house that they were supposed to be looking at and Don sitting there and she was like, this bitch that came back to ATL with all her tricks and stuff and I just don't know. And I just want to know, can you, let me crash here? And I said, oops. We ain't got time to go backwards, okay? The love triangle between Mimi, Jocelyn, and Stevie, we need to let that shit go, okay? I don't want to go back. Please go forward. So Mimi is like, who would have fucking thought that the bitch that took my man, I'm finna help them out in their fucking relationship issues and all this stuff. Now I gotta go tell my new friend Jocelyn what the fuck is going on. And she was like, let me tell you something. I'm gonna have to tell Chris too. He was like, what? Magic Mimi told her, why you have to call her beautiful? I told you to call her handsome. She didn't like that shit. He was like, well, she beautiful. I would have called the bitch beautiful too. But then, hey, it is what it is. I ain't trying to disrespect nobody. So all you gotta do is tell me once if you offended and I won't do it no more. Whatever. It's complicated. So moving on from that shit, Jocelyn had a conversation and a sit down with fucking Tommy. She was like, she came to my party and I was just trying to understand how come she can't act in the way that she act. And you understand that my accent, when I do her, it kind of clear up. Because if you listen to Jocelyn from season 1 to now, Jocelyn been doing her hooked on phonics and her Rosetta Stone, and I can fucking hear it. Because I hear her more fucking clearly. I said, all right, bitch, you saying words right and shit. Okay, no more shenanigans up in this bitch. Okay. Anyway, so she was just like, I told this bitch that she was gonna act like a lady, but she come there, acting like a little hood rat, gut ass trash. And I said, what you used to be? Bitch, Jocelyn sat there and told Tommy some fucking truth. And I was confused once again with myself, like, Jocelyn is saying something right. But it's coming from Jocelyn, who used to do the same thing and is kind of still doing the same. What the fuck is going on? I'm confused. I'm so confused. She said, Tommy, you just came up to that girl and you asked her, you just like, do you know me? Do you know me? And all that stuff. And then you just attacked her. You didn't even give her a chance to respond. What you should have did was came up to her and been like, do you know me? Do you understand why you keep on calling my name and all that stuff? And then y'all could have went on to the side and had a conversation and talked it out. And I said, well, good goddamn Jocelyn, you fucking right. Or she could have said nothing and just left that shit alone. And I said, Tommy was like, you know what? I'm so sorry. It's just that this girl had my name all up in her mouth and she don't even know me. She don't know me. And, it was the alcohol and stuff. And, I don't even like drinking. And it's just that I don't even want to deal with the stuff that's going on right now with me and Scrap. And it's just like, God, I just don't know. I was like, Tommy, shut the fuck up, bitch. I don't know why I just like Tommy when she get pissed off. Move, bitch. Okay? I wish she would tell me something like that. I will move all over that motherfucker, bitch. Let me stop playing. But, I'll probably be 20 feet away from her. Maybe that friends that be walking down the street 20 feet away from each other because I'd be scared that, she got some type of device that can screen my wallet and get my social security number and my card numbers. I'm just saying. But you know, she's a scammer. She's a messy bitch and she lives for drama. Okay, come on, Joanna Prada. But anyway, they doing all this shit and I said, no, Jocelyn ain't up here canceling this bitch and giving her real life advice that she should have took years ago. Girl, I was confused by the whole thing. I really was. Rashida and her bags. Look, shut up, Kay. But anyway, we get Carly Red meeting up with Jessica Dime. I have to give Jessica Dime props because she came there, well, semi-props. You know, she keeping this pink theme alive and she went as far as down her freaking eyebrow or color penciling it in pink, okay? But your eyelashes was dark ass black. Okay. And then you look and she literally do look like the perfume bottle from Nicki Minaj in the confessional. Girl, take that shit off. You know, sometimes less is more and less is just enough. And girl, you just doing the fucking most. But Carly was sitting there giggling on her phone like, and then Jessica was like, the only time I see a bitch doing that is when they got a man telling her some good shit. And I know life ain't been telling her shit. Nothing like that. Bitch, who you giggling over? Let me tell you, girl. So look. Scrap came over to the shop, right? And this motherfucker kissed me and then he lifts me up. I was like, oh my God. I was sitting here like, okay. She was like, Jessica was like, so you gonna deal with that when he got a baby mama and some other hood rat ass bitch on the side too? She was like, well, he said he not in no relationship and I believe him. Jessica was me in that moment. You really believe that? You really believe that? I don't believe none of that bullshit, but if that's what you want, that's what you... She was like, bitch, I can understand. You know, she said, do you see the reason these bitches be getting into it with each other? Do you want to be in part of that? She was like, but bitch, I understand why. Because he is... Oh my God, I said... She called her mother thought Reese, and I said, you know what? Basically, she called you a thought, and you old as fuck. That was shade all in itself. And so, you know, Jessica was like, well, bitch, let me tell you who the fuck been texting me. Little fucking Scrappy. And she was like, what? You trying to make Little Scrappy be Big Scrappy? She said, bitch, Big Scrappy should have been Big Scrappy when he first came to me. I said, well, damn. Okay. But I'm just sitting here like, y'all just selling y'all thought tales and all that stuff. And I was like, you know, ugh. But anyway. So we get back to Mimi house. Chris comes over. And Chris just looked like a little ass kid. I hate them droopy ass pants Mimi had on. It looked like her diaper was sagging and it was soiled and everything and she needed a change, okay? Her the pants was just, you know, she needed to just get it refreshed. And then Chris comes in and looking like her little kid. That's what she looked like. She was like, and I'm just sitting here like, this shit is so fake to me. But a part of me want to believe that it was real on Chris' behalf. But Chris, let me tell you something. I know that you didn't want to get involved in all the bullshit. And Chris is like me. I don't give a fuck about nobody else's drama and all that shit. When my relationship, I want my relationship just to be about us. I don't give a shit about anybody else's drama because that ain't got nothing to do with me. But girl, sir, you got involved with Mimi. And you can't tell me that you have never heard of her. You did not know what the fuck was going on with Stevie J, Jocelyn, and the situation. So you can't tell me that you didn't know nothing. You couldn't tell me you didn't know about the shower rod and all that shit because that was everywhere. So you knew right from the back that her life was full of fucking drama. And you chose to go ahead and proceed with the relationship. So for you to be like, you know, it's just too much drama and then seeing them again and that just showed me what it was. And then when Mimi dropped the bomb that Stevie wanted to be over there after she explained the situation, she was basically, she let her down so gentle too. She let her down like a perfect gentleman, okay? And was like, if I need to back away so you can figure out what's going on, I will back away. I will make that sacrifice. I said, come on, Christopher. What's going on? Mimi knew what it was when them tears started flowing. I said, girl, how long did it take you to muster up them tears? But she was like, I just gotta figure some stuff out. Have your whisper horse. I said, Mimi, shut up. It was kind of sad. It was kind of sad. But Chris was like, I'm going to have to back the fuck away. And, you know, I respect the way that she let her down. But, girl, you knew what the fuck his shit was. I mean, sir, you knew what it was. I, whatever. What the fuck ever, that situation. And she walked out like a little ass. She was like, this was one of the best relationships I had. I was like, all right. It lasted while it lasted. It was good while it lasted. I said, okay. Okay, sir. Stop playing with yourself. I just don't get it. I'm done. So, K Michelle doing her little video shoot, for Be Mindful Ho. Okay. And Carly Red is there. Yes! I just so love seeing Kay doing her stuff, you know. It's just so inspiring to me. Okay. And so they talking, and she was like, bitch, Rashida done put a motherfucking hex on me. Look at these bags under my eyes and all this stuff. I said, Kay, shut the fuck up. She was like, but I'm going to be a mature woman, and I'm going to invite all them hoes to my party, my album release party and listening party. Everybody except for Jessica Dime, okay? Because I'm not fucking with that trash ass bitch. I said, well, damn. And then, you know, Carly was talking about, well, Jocelyn came up and, you know, she was like, I met with her. She was like, you know, that bitch trying to blackmail me. And she was like, well, you have to think about it. Maybe she probably just don't want to be your friend. She was like, and if that's the case, I'm fine with it. And K Michelle was like, I'm not finna get in between all this stuff, and ain't no friend gonna make me try to pick sides with another and stop me being cool or supporting another. And I was like, well, okay, that's fine too. So moving on from that, Mimi and Arian was at the house, her house, mind you. She was like, you know, I'm just getting over this breakup with Chris. And so to get over it, me and Arian, we're going to have a joint birthday party because our birthdays are so close together. And it's like, I'm still feeling down from breaking up with Chris. So I need Arian in my life to keep the turn up going up. I was like, okay. And did y'all peep the way that they looked at each other when they was looking in the mirror, and Arian turned around at Mimi and Mimi turned around at her? I said, y'all fucked before y'all did this thing. That's what it seemed like to me. Arian, you was smiling for a couple of reasons, okay? You finna lick something, all right? But they get to the party. Rashida is there, Jessica Diamond's there, and then Carly comes, and then here come Mimi. Okay, and then Carly started talking about K Michelle and the whole thing and saying that they there. When K Michelle's name was mentioned, Rashida was like, you know, everybody looked kind of shook or whatever. Mimi was like, so this bitch K Michelle, she threw flowers at me, a candle at Rashida, and this bitch tried to break up my relationship with my ex, and now she wants to come do her listening party? Bitch, boo, bye. You can go back to whatever hole she came from. I said, okay, that's fine. You feel that way. But what irked me was, you know, the way that Jessica, you know, she talking about how Kay is regular. I can't believe I'm taking up for this bitch. But Kay is regular. Rashida was talking some shit too. But to be quite honest, Jessica, where's your deal at? You still without a deal? You ain't even got a song on the motherfucking radio. Okay? Kate was on this show for what? In her second season, she had her first album come out. At the end of the first season or at the beginning of the second season, she had her first album come out. You've been on here for 2 seasons. You are still without a label. Rashida, you've been on here all seasons and you still without a fucking hit. You had to downsize. You've been in money pits. You've been in this and you've been in that. So success-wise, you know, for right now, K Michelle is looking better. So you can't really talk shit. Attitude-wise, you know, y'all do got y'all personal drama, but you can't hate on her fucking success because y'all ain't doing shit right about now. And then, you know, they ripped Jessica down, didn't get no invitation, so she took Carly's and she ripped it up. But did y'all see how Jessica Diamond's ass stayed like a flat surface for a second, like a sponge, you know, when you sit down and it conform to the shape and all that stuff? I said, that fake ass. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Then Bambi come over with her new dude and told Rashida and them that they dating, and then Jessica Diamond want to say, oh, so that's why Scrappy is hitting me up. I honestly don't feel like she was trying to throw that shit up in her face like that, but Bambi showed up took it like that because she said, well, that's fine, well, you don't need to tell me that. But I understood where Bambi was coming from. Well, bitch, that's your business. You know, you do what you got to do, because then that's how she took it. That's the reason why she took it like she was trying to throw it in her face, because why do you need to offer me this information if I just said me and this dude is dating? So obviously we know that me and Scrappy ain't together, and they get into it, and I was just fucking over it. Y'all loving hip-hop. Y'all tell me how y'all feel. This review is too damn long and I ain't adding it. Peace.